like it was a spirited practice. Did you see what you wanted to see from the guys respond today in practice?
Yeah, as I said to the guys this morning, and we've got to bring an unwavering level of enthusiasm to what we do every day if we're gonna ultimately pull ourselves out of this. So we all have a conscious choice in how we're going to approach it. It starts with our attitude, and so I thought the guys had a strong practice, competed hard. We got accomplished what we had set out to do, and we'll go from there.
Just some injury housekeeping. Have any of the either Sherry, Edstrom, Igor, Fox, have any of them resumed skating?
No.
Are any of them close to resuming skating?
What's close?
Next week or so?
I think I'd have to check on more specific details because I'm not exactly privy to exactly when they're going on the ice, but I think they're a little bit further away.
I'm curious what the balance is. Like, you have Rempe obviously is kind of battling this thumb thing. You've got JT looked like he got shaken up and then eventually came back in the game. What's the balance of wanting these guys in the lineup but also wanting to make sure that they're fully healed before they're in?
Well, that's the challenge. All these guys want to play,
Yeah.
and the question is can and the reality also is that there's a lot of guys that are playing banged up. That's the nature of the NHL, and so the question is are they healthy enough or feel good enough, feel strong enough to the point where they can make an impact on the game and play the game that sets them up for success. And that's the question that I always try to ask. And we made a decision to pull Remps out of the lineup, for example, because we just felt like it was in watching him, it's been really hard for him to play the game he wants to play. And if you're limited to that point, he can't help the team, and he's not helping himself either, because all it does is build frustration with the player, because there's certain expectations when you pull the jersey over your head that the assumption is that you're healthy enough to make an impact. And so these guys, they want to play, they want to be in the lineup, and the challenge is when guys are working through injuries like that is to figure out where they're at and if they have the ability to make an impact on the game in a positive way. And that's what we try to answer.
When you have a guy like Igor Shesterkin who's out for a long period of time, you have a veteran goalie like Jonathan Quick who's played a long time. How do you sort of balance as a coach when knowing when to play him? And you guys got Spencer Martin you maybe don't know as well. How do you balance sort of the workload in a stretch like this where you're trying to win points, you have a goalie you trust? How tough is that sort of dynamic?
Yeah, it's just another challenge. I think, I've talked with Quickie about, what our intentions are here going through this process, and, he's really embraced the challenge in front of him. And as I said to you guys, I think when I was asked this question last week, and my response was, and it continues to be, that, we're going to feel some of it out. Some of it's just going to be intuition based on what we see. And, obviously we want to set Quickie up for success. And, we don't want to, give him a workload where it becomes diminishing returns and you get a lesser version of the player because of it. And that's something that we're gonna have to watch. And but we have a game plan sketched out. As I always say to you guys, it's in pencil because it's always subject to change. But part of it's just going to be intuition and feel.
Do you notice, Mike, whether the team plays differently in front of one goalie as opposed to the other goalie? I'm only asking because I think the numbers with Jonathan in there, you guys seem to score like not as much even as when he was in there.
Yeah, that's not my observation of watching it. That's a hard one. It's not like we're trying to play a certain game depending on who's behind them, who's backstopping us in goal.
No, but one guy might maybe be better at handling the puck or something.
Yeah, well, there's certain, Chesney has elite puck handling skills, and that can help us with breakouts and things of that nature, right? And so, from that standpoint, it might impact our execution rate or our success rate on exits or whatever it may be. But, you know, I don't think our guys, instinctively are playing a different game. I just don't believe that.
I was a little curious. It's kind of specific. I didn't get a chance to ask last night. Maybe you could kind of talk about it more from a big picture philosophy perspective. But the third goal last night, I'm sure we could point to coverage breakdowns or whatever, but also the timing of the line change in that situation. Like, when guys are at the end of the shift, I'm sure you don't want them out there tired, but also when the puck's coming back the other way, it's kind of, I'm sure it's imperative to get back. So is the line change kind of the biggest mistake on that play, or?
It's one of.
Yeah.
It's one of.
Yeah.
When you go back and look at it, and we watched it this morning as a group, and to try to learn through that experience, and we talk about this stuff all the time, and just situational play. Line changes are a critical aspect of being hard to play against. If your line changes are sloppy, you're going to give teams an opportunity to create easy offense. As an extension of that, the decisions you make with the puck are a big part of line changes. So at the start of that, we don't get a puck deep, and we allow them to play 3/4 of the rink. We don't have an opportunity to get a clean line change, get guys on the ice, get them in a posture where they're in a position to defend. Now, coming on the ice, we don't do a great job as far as the decisions we make and the ice that we occupy and positionally where we should be. We lacked ice balance, and that's an awareness thing and understanding when you come on the ice. Situational awareness, but those are the learning experiences, right? And so, once again, it's not any one thing that was the result of that goal. It was a series of events that lead up to the opportunity that was presented.
If I could ask, just piggybacking off of that, something you said about in the line change, does the guy with the puck know that there's a line, like they're changing? Like, does he have to see it, or is there a trigger that says, okay, I'm going off now?
Oh, well, you're on the ice for close to a minute. Guys are tired.
Yeah.
You're tired.
Mm-hmm.
When you have the puck yourself, you're tired. So the reality is when you're late in shifts, the decisions you make with the puck late in shifts are an important element of being hard to play against. That's situational play. It's situational awareness. It's also game management. And the phrase we use with our guys all the time is put your teammates in good positions when they come on the ice, when they come over the boards, so they don't have to chase the game and scramble mode. And one of the best ways to do that is by making hard plays when you're late in shifts, getting pucks below the goal line, forcing our opponents to have to go the full sheet of the rink, not 3/4 of the ice, where they can quick strike. And now we're jumping on the ice and we're chasing it. And so like I said, it's not any one. It's not a single decision or mistake, whatever you want to call it, that results in the puck ended up in the net. Usually you chase a mistake with a second mistake, or sometimes even a third mistake, and that's the opportunity is we compound the challenge. And that's where we've got to do a better job, and a lot of it is just situational play and situational awareness. When you're late in shifts, make good decisions, get pucks deep, make hard plays, change smart. When you're coming on the ice, know what you're skating into, have an awareness and make sure that positionally you skate to the right place, so we have balance and we're on the right side of the puck, we're on the right side of people, things of that nature. And some of our guys, like this is a work in progress. We got a lot of young guys in the lineup right now.
Is that part of that phrase that you use sometimes, just keeping it simple and just don't be in it?
Yeah, I mean, you can use any phrase or adjective you want to describe it. I think for me it boils down to situational awareness and situational play. Decisions you make when you're late in shifts are really important, because usually if I'm late in the shift and I'm tired, my line mates are probably in the same spot. And if I make a decision that's risky, or I make a soft play and they knock a puck down and they play 3/4 of the ice, or they quick strike attack, or we feed their transition game, most of the guys on the ice don't have the juice to defend. If you're early in the shift, well, at least you have some juice. So you have an opportunity to track and get yourself in a posture where you have an opportunity to defend. You're not necessarily, you might be chasing the game, but at least you're chasing the game with juice, right? So that's the conversation, that's the learning opportunity, right? That I think that we're going through. And we've got to do a better job in controlling those situations. If we do, then we're going to give ourselves a better chance to win.
How hard is that, what you're facing with the standings, and you're talking about the young players that are learning on the fly here, trying to turn the season around?
Well, it just, it's that's the world we live in right now. And so we're going to stay in the moment. We're going to try to learn through each experience. We're not going to dwell on anything. We're not going to get overwhelmed by circumstance or the noise. We've got to just stay in the moment, and that's what we're trying to do. We try to get better today. In the film room, we went out, we had a spirited practice, and then we'll get excited about the opportunity tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.